It was an ordinary Tuesday morning in room 3B, sunlight streaming lazily through the windows, catching specks of dust in the air. Peter, an 8-year-old with messy hair and an ever-restless mind, dragged his finger along the sentence in his reading book, internally counting down the minutes until the lunch bell. And the rabbit hopped over the... Miss Anna's voice interrupted, clear as a bell at the front of the classroom. Peter sat up straighter, embarrassed to have been caught daydreaming. He gave a quick nod. The room was filled with 23 other students, each lost in either quiet concentration or plotting their next recess adventure. Miss Anna tapped the corner of her book lightly, signaling it was time for someone else to read aloud. "Okay, Than, why don't you take the next paragraph?" Peter couldn't help sneaking a glance out the window again. The world outside always seemed more exciting than the classroom. Birds swooped and darted in playful arcs, and the trees swayed back and forth, almost beckoning him to join in their game. But then, something unusual happened. As Than stumbled his way through another sentence, Peter noticed Miss Anna pause, clutching the edge of her desk. Her eyebrows furrowed briefly, as if she had suddenly remembered something important. The room grew oddly still. Her hand slowly pressed against her heart, and for a second she almost looked serious. But before she could answer, something incredible took place. There was a soft, golden glow that began emanating from her hands. Then her entire body bathed in a shimmer of light so bright, the students squinted and shielded their eyes. Peter's jaw dropped, alongside the eraser he'd been fiddling with. Right before him, Miss Anna's figure started changing. Her usual modest teacher's cardigan disappeared, transforming into a sleek red and gold superhero suit. On her back unfurled a long, flowing cape, trailing silver stardust as it settled. Her hair, once tied up in a practical bun, cascaded down her shoulders in waves of glowing energy. The classroom fell into stunned silence. Everyone sat frozen in their little wooden desks, eyes wide, jaws slack. Then she smiled. The same warm smile she always had, except now it was somehow glowing from within. "Miss Anna, you," Peter stammered, unable to finish the sentence. "Yes, Peter," Miss Anna said calmly, her voice deeper and filled with an otherworldly power. "It's time I showed you the true power of reading." With a flick of her wrist, the classroom windows closed with an invisible force. Her hand rose, and suddenly, the storybooks on every desk began glowing just like she was. Letters lifted off the pages, sparkling and swirling in the air like fireflies, forming glowing words that danced and floated around the room. "Reading," Miss Anna declared, her voice now resonating with an almost musical energy, "isn't just about words. It's about unlocking worlds, a doorway to unimaginable adventure, knowledge, and power." Than, stunned, forgot to sit down and just blurted out, "Are you a superhero?" Miss Anna turned to the boy with a grin. "In a way, I think teaching is its own kind of superpower," she replied. "Now, let me show you something extraordinary." She twirled her finger, and suddenly the words floating mid-air combined and surged into a massive image. Before their astonished eyes, a 3D landscape of the story they'd been reading materialized. The rabbit they had been reciting about came to life, hopping around the room before disappearing into a shimmering forest. Peter and the other students couldn't hold back. They stood on their chairs, leaning forward, trying to get closer to the magical scene, which was so real they could almost touch it. Even Than, who hated reading, looked completely mesmerized. "You see," Miss Anna said, looking at the awestruck faces surrounding her, "reading can be this powerful, if you let it be." And just like that, the glow began to fade, the shimmering letters dissolving back into their books, like fireflies silently returning to their jars. Miss Anna's superhero cape fluttered one last time before vanishing, and her usual teacher outfit reappeared as effortlessly as if nothing extraordinary had happened. The classroom erupted in noise. "You're a superhero. Can you fly?" "Miss Anna, do it again, please. Was that real?" Miss Anna smiled mysteriously and picked up her chalk. "Only if you keep reading. The real magic doesn't come from me, it comes from these stories. Now, who's ready for the next chapter?" And for the first time all year, room 3B was filled not with groans, but with excited hands shooting into the air. Peter glanced at his book, unable to suppress a grin. For the first time, reading didn't seem boring at all. It seemed limitless,